Today they will tell us they are here, tomorrow they are here. Everybody knows within our area. But we will not see any action taking place. That is to say, sir, we need this Senate to tell the armed forces to be reporting progress every week so that state by state, otherwise it will be a mess of all issues and we will not be seeing progress. Sir, I beg you that time is ripe now, that this problem is solvable. We have seen progress. We should not allow this progress to be derailed. We should pursue this remnant of these people so that our next election can be peaceful and sustainable. And we have something to sell to our people, sir. This is the only thing I want to take. If I get protected in my environment, please keep your roads, keep your schools. We just want to be safe. And that is the message we are sending to the Senate President. Please save our life and our people. We are not bothered about roads now or schools. Please save our lives. Our people's lives are in danger. Thank you.
34 members of my own immediate family. My auntie, who was pregnant with twins, was butchered. Her belly was pierced, and they removed the twins and slaughtered these twins. Distinguished audience, the Nigerian government, despite its pronouncement, has demonstrably failed to defend us. Time and again, when our villages are attacked, help is either non-existent or deliberately arrives too late. Worst, when our young men, driven by desperation to protect their families, organize themselves in self-defense, they are often met not with support, but with arrest and detention by the very authorities who should be protecting them, leaving our communities even more vulnerable. This is not just neglect, it is active disarming of the victims. Therefore, I stand you today to make an urgent, fervent plea, a plea for the conscience of America and the global community. One, like I said earlier, over 200 people who are my friends, my family, my neighbors were brutally, gruesomely, in the most cruel manner, killed. But before then, every month, we do record 10, 20 deaths in the hands of these terrorists. But it has never been pronounced because we lived with it in the last 10 years. Last month was different because of the sheer number, the sheer size of what happened. 34 members of my family were annihilated. 34 members of my own immediate family. My auntie, who was pregnant with twins, was butchered. Her belly was pierced, and they removed the twins and slaughtered these twins, the fetuses. My friend, who just came to the village that day, he spent 7 years studying pharmacy in the university and had graduated a year ago and had done his housemanship and came to the village, and they killed him. That they burnt him to death in his room that night. My sister, God's mom, Mary, a very devout Catholic who has been an altar server, who is a 300 level student, that's how we call it in Nigeria, third year student of accounting in Nasarawa State University, was butchered and her brain was spilled out that night. Children, 1 month old, 3 months old, aged 70 years, 80 years old people who cannot flee, were cycled with fuel in their room and burnt to death. When this massacre happened, the first call I got, very first thing in the morning, the first 8 names I asked after spontaneously were all killed. The first 8 names. It was that 20% of my village was annihilated. And you know the funny thing? They took 4 hours doing that. And let me paint a graphic picture of what Yerota is. My village is situated on the federal highway, what you call the interstate in America. So it's not a village in the hinterland where the road is impassable. It's a village that is just 25 minutes drive to the state capital, Makurdi, where there's an Air Force base, the Tactical Air Command of the Nigerian Air Force, where they could deploy a drone. It's 25 minutes drive. And in Makurdi, there's the presence of the 72 Special Forces Battalion of the Nigerian Army. And then the next capital, the capital of Nasarawa State, Lafia, is placed 51 kilometers away from my village. So we are sandwiched by two capitals, state capitals, on the highway, on the interstate. And these terrorists operated for 4 good hours, burning everybody in the village. That points exactly to what has been an established fact: state complicity. Distinguished audience, the Nigerian government, despite its pronouncement, has demonstrably failed to defend us. Time and again, when our villages are attacked, help is either non-existent or deliberately arrives too late. Worst, when our young men, driven by desperation to protect their families, organize themselves in self-defense, they are often met not with support, but with arrest and detention by the very authorities who should be protecting them, leaving our communities even more vulnerable. This is not just neglect, it is active disarming of the victims. Therefore, I stand you today to make an urgent, fervent plea, a plea for the conscience of America and the global community. 1, I reaffirm what my bishop, the bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi, Bishop Anagui, said to the U.S. Subcommittee on Africa, Congressional Subcommittee on Africa in March this year, that let's designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. The systematic, egregious violations of religious freedom against Christians in northern Nigeria demand this designation. This is not merely symbolic. It triggers mechanisms for focused diplomatic and economic pressure, sending an unmistakable message to the Nigerian government and the perpetrators that the world is watching and will not tolerate this genocide and injustice. Secondly, we need intervention, not indifference. We need active, robust intervention from the United States, the West, and all people of goodwill across the globe. We need monetary and humanitarian aid, very especially, to help rebuild our villages and take care of the medical and clothing needs of our people, as well as food. Our people don't have food now. They hardly eat in a day. Beyond the humanitarian aid that is desperately needed, we make the following call. A, targeted sanctions. Impose sanctions on individuals and entities implicated in the persecution and violence against Christians in Nigeria. My brother Steve mentioned some names. Those are the names. These figures are well known. You know, some time ago, 2 years ago, Dubai arrested about quite a couple of terrorists, that's the UAE government, and prosecuted and jailed them. They gave them a corresponding list of their sponsors in Nigeria. The UAE sent that list to Nigeria, and Nigerian government has slept on it up to this day. Intelligence sharing. C. We need capacity building, share critical intelligence with groups capable of defending themselves, and provide non-lethal weapons and defensive capabilities to vulnerable communities, bypassing a government that has proven unwilling or unable to protect its own citizens. D. Diplomatic pressure. Leverage every diplomatic tool to demand accountability from the Nigerian government for its failure to protect its Christian citizens and to seize the arrest of those attempting self-defense. E. Allow us to defend ourselves. If the Nigerian government cannot and will not defend us from this systematic jihad, then they must allow us the right to defend ourselves. Instead of sending soldiers to arrest our able-bodied youth who are merely trying to protect their homes and families, the government must step aside and permit communities to organize legitimate self-defense mechanisms. Disarming the victims in the face of an existential threat is not neutrality, it is complicity. Furthermore, as crucial part of the solution, we demand that the USA, the Interpol, and the global community arrest the sponsors of the Fulani Jihad in Nigeria, who are the very center of gravity of this genocide. Those sponsors are well known to the US, to Nigeria, and the Interpol, and they are among the top echelon of the Nigerian political, business, economic, and traditional institutions. They must be prosecuted before the International Criminal Court, ICC, for crimes against humanity. This is not merely about justice for the past, it is also about dismantling the machinery of terror that continues to threaten our existence. My people are resilient, we are resourceful, but we are also systematically slaughtered. We are not asking for an army to fight our battles, but for the fundamental right to protect our lives, our families, and our faith in the face of an existential threat that the state has failed to address. The price of continued inaction, of polite diplomacy that ignores the brutal reality on the ground, will be paid in Christian blood. Let us not allow history to record that when Yerwata, my village, when Benue State, my state, which is made up of 98% Christians, and when Nigerian Christians are persecuted by these murderous jihadists, the world turned a deaf ear. Let us instead forge a new chapter, one where justice prevails, where human dignity is upheld, and where the systematic jihad against Nigerian Christians is made with the resolute stand of a global community echoing a dark chapter from our own history. Finally, I called on the US, all of you here, to help pray for my siblings, for my friends, for my relations, for my community, for my state. The American dream, which was so well encapsulated and articulated in paragraph 2 of the Declaration of Independence, that you so much desire, we also desire that. We desire this unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yes, we do. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. God bless Nigeria. God bless Yerwata, and may the souls of the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, continue to rest in perfect peace.
We produced a 28-minute short documentary